Italy says NATO Secretary General Jen Stoltenberg should step down for saying NATO should strike inside Russia. A few months ago, Zelensky, like Adolf Hitler, the Ashkenazian servant of the merchant bankers, who have been the instigators of wars for so many centuries, said, I will paraphrase, what Ukraine asks for, it will always eventually get. That's Zelensky saying the United States will first not provide it, but with continued persistence, it will give in and provide all the weapons and the assistance requested. Zelensky is correct. It first began with only defensive weapons, and then it morphed into offensive weapons, with the United Kingdom leading that change. It was then weapons with a limited range, no more than 300 miles. Britain led that charge and that change with the Storm Shadow missiles, and the United States followed. The United States refused providing the M1 Abrams tanks, but Germany started delivering its big Leopard 2 tanks. It wasn't long before the United States started delivering M1 Bradley tanks, the M1 Abrams tanks. Ukraine demanded F-16s, and the United States said no. Now there is deliberation on how to sneak F-16s into Ukraine without Russia destroying these F-16s or launching these F-16s from bases in other countries, with Russia indicating those bases will be struck. Zelensky has even requested nuclear weapons. Russia will not wait as the wolf pack incrementally provide Ukraine with more and more dangerous weapons and intelligence information. This means Putin is now on the fast track to eliminate Zelensky and those members of the Kyiv regime who loyally follows him. This is why Russia repeatedly says, as of May 20th, Zelensky is not the legitimate president of Ukraine, making him a military target. This, and with the massive loss of territory in Ukraine, the latest in the Kharkov area, some members of the Wolfpack have been shaken to their core. For example, NATO Secretary General Jen Stoltenberg, he said this in an interview with Rothschild Merchant Bankers owned Economist publication, one of their many global propaganda media cartels.
Has come for allies to consider whether they should lift some of the restrictions they have put on the use of weapons they have donated to Ukraine.
These are lies. Ukraine has used the Patriot missile system to destroy a Russian aircraft carrying prisoners of war that was in the process of being exchanged in the Belgorod area of Russia.
Because especially now when a lot of the fighting is going on in Kharkiv, close to the border, to deny Ukraine the possibility of using these weapons against legitimate military targets on Russian territory makes it very hard for them to defend themselves.
They cannot defend themselves because Russia is by far a more superior military.
I believe the time has come for allies to consider whether they should lift some of the restrictions they have imposed on weapons donated to Ukraine. Because we need to remember what this is. This is a war of aggression by Russia against Ukraine. Ukraine has the right to defend themselves. And that includes also striking targets on Russian territory.
Here you will see the indication, and it is accurate, that it is Britain who is actually leading this increase in escalating the situation against Russia.
Some allies have already lifted those restrictions, allowing to use their weapons against military targets in Ukraine, and I believe the time has come for other allies to consider this.
The UK has effectively lifted the restrictions, and it is the US that's really the single most important one.
This crazy unilateral talk on Stoltenberg's part did not go unanswered. In fact, it opened widening fissures within the NATO organization, within the wolf pack. Remember, Stoltenberg was stupid enough to once proclaim that Russia is losing and will be defeated on the battlefield, which was a lie and never the case. He should have never ascended to the position of Secretary General of NATO, but should have remained a banker in Norway. The widening fissures in NATO. For example, Italy's Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini said Stoltenberg should either retract his statement, apologize, or resign. NATO cannot force us to kill in Russia, nor can anyone compel us to send Italian soldiers to fight or die in Ukraine. He went on to say, if they want to go and fight in Ukraine, let Stoltenberg, the French President Emmanuel Macron, and all the bombers who want war go there. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, she said, I don't understand why Stoltenberg would say such a thing. T. West, Afro Synergy News.